ask people to be patient.
Sometimes things do fall through the cracks, and sometimes maybe you as a minister want to achieve different things than maybe the bureaucracy allows. And I know specifically about two issues. One, a young couple, wife giving birth, wanting to bring in her mother to care for the baby and the family during that period of birth and after birth. But also another elderly gentleman that's caring for his senior wife, wanting to bring in a family member that's actually a professional nurse to care for his wife. Both these people were rejected. And would these normally be issues that normally do get accepted? And obviously I understand that there may be other mitigating issues that, that maybe haven't been mentioned.
Yeah, I think typically, yes. I can't comment on the particular cases because A, I don't know them, and B, the Privacy Act doesn't allow me to talk about them. But the kind of scenarios you explain normally would lead to a visa approval, I believe. I should point out, Yuri, that 92% or 93% of the Ukrainian citizens who apply for visitors' visas to Canada get them. So that when I talked about the 8% rejection rate, the flip side is a 98, 97%, excuse me, a 92, 93% acceptance rate. So the 9 out of 10 Ukrainian applicants for visas are getting their visas to come to Canada. That tells me that amongst those that are rejected, there's often something else on the file that is a problem. And it's hard for me to know what that problem might be. But basically in each case, the bureaucrats who make these decisions look at, is there anything that causes us to believe the person won't come back to Ukraine, that they will overstay in Canada? And if there are no connections in Ukraine, no real estate, no family members, no financial interests, no job, often the visa officers will say, well, we're not persuaded the person will come back, and that's often the criteria they apply to each of their decisions. So that's all I can say in general. I mean, look, none of our visa officers wake up in the morning saying, oh, I'm looking forward to going into the office and rejecting a woman's effort to come to Canada to help her pregnant daughter give birth. I mean, none of them do that. These are decent people that mean well, but they do have a responsibility to apply the law consistently, and they try to do so, I think, in a reasonably flexible way.
Now, what about comments about Canada cutting staff at the Canadian Embassy in Kyiv, and also possible bribery situations in the consulate section?
Yeah.
Do you know anything about those issues?
Well, on the first issue, there's a lot of misinformation on that. I think a couple of years ago, there was a slight realignment of our staff there, and 2 local people were let go, but 1 Canadian bureaucrat was sent in. Look, effectively, we have the same complement of immigration staff working in Kyiv, and that's proven by the fact that the numbers for immigrants coming to Canada from Ukraine have gone up over the past couple of years. So we're happily receiving more Ukrainians. We're providing better service, much faster processing times, particularly for economic immigrants. In terms of allegations of corruption, I haven't heard anything specifically about our mission in Kyiv. I will say that we often hear these allegations or rumors with many of our missions abroad, and I always say to people, if you have hard evidence, please furnish me with that evidence. I know there are cases where we have found, on occasion, locally engaged staff that were acting unscrupulously, and I'm not speaking about any one office in particular, but we hold them accountable, we release them, we fire them, and we often refer those cases to the local police authorities. So, so many people want to come to Canada that they're willing to pay a lot to do it, and we encourage people, don't do it the wrong way. Go about it the right way, and your chances of coming here are very good.
One of the major issues of great concern to our community is the international trafficking of women and children. What has your government done to curb this atrocious practice, this atrocious business, and to what extent can we expect total or zero tolerance in relation to this issue?
Under the previous Liberal government, there was they called it the stripper program. They had a fast tracking for exotic dancers to come to Canada. And you may recall one of my predecessors, Minister Scrow, ended up having to resign over this. A lot of the women and girls being trafficked into that industry, and let's be clear, a lot of that is happening through shady organizations, often connected to criminal organizations. A lot of that was exploitation was happening to young Ukrainian women, and we've put an end to that. I'm pleased to say that we are no longer going to be a party to that, and we're focusing on the whole issue of human trafficking. A lot of the Eastern European countries, including Ukraine, have been victims to this kind of human trafficking, and we're taking a zero tolerance approach to that.